10 past. If you, you're okay. You're okay to stay here. Yeah. Okay. So it's now 7:10 on the 21st of November. Welcome everyone to the Community and Tourism meeting. We're going to start and run through the first couple of points on the agenda, and then we will just resume a quick presentation from one of our grant applicants. So, have we got any apologies, Louise?
Yes, Chair. We've had apologies from Councillors Morris and Cheney.
Thank you. Any interests? Any declaration of interest? Nope. Lovely. Minutes from the previous meeting, from the last meeting, which was held on the 17th of October 2024. Are there any matters arising? Anything that we need to, any points that we need to raise, or can I just propose those and we sign those off? I'll propose them. Councillor Googe, the seconder. Thank you very much. All those in favour? Thank you. It's unanimous. The open session for electors of Newquay, any verbal or written? Joe?
We've had no written questions, Chair.
And there's nobody in the gallery, so we can move on from that. Fabulous. And then that brings us to item number 6, which is applications for the grant award. Gentlemen, I'm going to hand back over to you to just finish up your...
Well, I think, do you want to put another slide up or not? Well, that was important. That was the important one, yeah. So yeah, just going on about... If you finished speaking to that. Yeah, it was that slide that was up, like, we can't do all this without your help. Mm-hmm. As I said, costs are associated with what I've already said, but there's also developing, maintaining and running our website, sure. which is the great thing, because that gets us right out there to the wider public and the Cornish diaspora. Mm-hmm. And we are widely followed throughout the UK and worldwide. And as Jim has said, we've had enthusiastic feedback from people in New Zealand, Australia, North and South America, and some have even come over to join in with our celebrations. Fabulous. Here. The good thing about that, of course, is that brings money into the town. Mm-hmm. It brings more footfall into the town, as Jim showed up there. This year, we estimated that it brought 1,000 more people into the town today. And a lot of those people have also gone back to their own communities and set up similar Cornish-themed festivals over there. So it's also exporting Cornishness and I'm saying this is Lancastrian, Cornishness and the benefits of Newquay and Cornwall. Yeah.
Great.
Do you want to add anything, Jim? I don't think so. No? Yeah.
Great. Thank you. Any questions?
What actually are you asking for?
We put in a grant application for £1,000. Mm-hmm. I did send a breakdown.
Yeah, we've got all of that.
Yeah. We've got a summary of last year's accounts basically in there as well. It costs us around about £3,000 for us to put the festival on, isn't it? Yeah. Well, yeah.
4,600 you've got in your application.
Well,
4,600.
4,600 is what we're projecting for next year.
Oh, that's next year's, okay.
That's next year. Costs have gone up a little bit, and with the Hotel Victoria now going, that was
lost one of your venues.
Major venues. So it has been suggested we go to the Atlantic, but maybe not. It's a bit too far out of town, really, to keep the parade in the town.
I see, yeah.
And if you know, the costs of with that would be a bit prohibitive, but yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and we do, at events, we do make bucket collections, if you like,
yeah.
to cover costs as well.
Have you...
So we need the fund money to start.
To start, yeah.
So that we know we've got the confidence to go further forward.
Yeah. Have you thought about crowdfunding at all?
We haven't thought about crowdfunding, but we've taken up your comments about the two county councillors.
So,
yeah, well, there's more than two.
So Crowdfunder are a national funding organisation, but their head office is actually in Newquay.
All right.
So they help charities, social organisations, community organisations to use their networks. And as the networks that you've just told me that you have internationally, you create a page which has, very similar to what you've done there with your presentation, tells people about the impact that you're having and the support that you need. And you can crowdfund, you can crowdsource funding from people that you know, contacts, businesses, individuals, international, national, and that comes in, and then that's unrestricted funding that you can use to help support the activity that you're doing. But you can also have things that people can support. You can have rewards for people to kind of pay for. So you could ask local businesses to give a spa day or a free fish and chips that people can then bid on your page, and that all feeds into you gaining that extra funding. But the fact that they're based in Newquay is really beneficial for Newquay-based organisations. So it might be worth having a little look at Crowdfunder UK in support of what it is that you're trying to do. Great.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for your time. All right.
Thank you for your time. Thank you. It's very lovely to see activity like that, and especially when there's lots of children that you recognise, and you know, it's lovely. So that's a great selling tool.
As you saw, with our part of Old Weather, and we go out through all these schools and teach them the songs, and it's great to see the enthusiasm that they have.
It is. I do remember my children. Yeah,
we go out
they participated.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. That's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll get another water.
We've got Andy Hammond.
So, how do we want to do this next bit, Joe? Are we going to consider each of the presentations that we've just seen and then make decisions now?
I would suggest you do it, Chair, as you do it one grant at a time.
One grant at a time.
You just need to be conscious of your overall budget, which is 2,500. So that's what you can either discuss them all individually and then vote on block, or it's really up to yourselves. I mean, each committee has its own way of doing things. But
Okay. Somebody may have a suggestion on that. Councillor Creek.
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking through the budget a moment ago. Have we still got £5,000 worth of youth community funding that we've not spent?
Did we put that back into the budget?
Well, it's in the budget for this year,
Happy days.
for sure. I think it's unspent, looking at the budget that goes to GNR on Monday for C&T. And one of those projects
Massively fits into that.
was a prime, contender for some of that money, I would suggest. So it might well be that we could fund it from that. It was just a suggestion. I don't know if that's in order, Joe.
you'll have to just let me double check your budget. But if it's within this committee, then yes, you'd be within your rights to use that.
Okay, great. Thank you. Any thoughts on if we? I don't think we need to go through them individually. I think they all have their own merits and they're all very positive, and we probably should support all of them. But we'll just go with whichever one people feel most passionate about, and then we'll work through them. Councillor Motta.
Yeah, I think there is a fourth request.
Yeah, Newquay Band.
Newquay Band.
So we go through also this one, we review, and then we decide based on what we think.
Yeah.
So at least we cover all four.
Yeah. Let's go then. Newquay Food Bank. What does everyone think? Councillor Creek.
I think it's a very worthy cause. I think we gave them the same amount of funding last year for the Christmas parcels. I think the need is only going to increase this year.
And they haven't asked for any more than they did last year.
Quite right. And I believe that one of the questions we asked last year was, I appreciate that it's outside of Newquay as well, because they cover St Column Major as well. But my understanding is they normally go to each of the town councils and ask for some money. So, you know, I mean, I'm not on this committee, but, you know, if I were to be on this committee, I would certainly be in favour of giving the money to Newquay Food Bank. And actually, if we utilise the fund that I just suggested, I think there's enough for all four.
Yeah, agreed. Any other thoughts on that? Councillor Googe.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm in support of all of the presentations we've seen so far, and it is paramount, and it comes down to, Joe, if we have the funding.
Yeah.
And it would be sad if we couldn't support for a matter of only £500 or even £1,000, when, having met at a budget meeting the other day, the precept is not going to be increased, and yet projects like these, for which has a direct impact on the people of Newquay, it would be a shame if we can't support it in its entirety. So while we've got one more application on through Newquay Band, from the three at the moment, which is sitting at £4,000 in total, and if it is only 2,500, we have to make a conscious decision of the percentages that goes to the other three, which is a shame if it happens. If, as Councillor the Mayor Drew Creek has mentioned, that there is a £5,000 remit in the youth fund still, then we are in a position that could support all, which is what I would be in favour of.
Joe.
Yeah, I mean, Councillor Creek's right. You do have a £5,000 unused community projects budget within Youth Initiative, which would bring your total kind of overall budget 7,500, which would, for if you wanted to utilise it for that purpose for these grants.
Yes, I think we're all in agreement that we would like to do that. So if we could approve all 4 of the grant applications utilising the youth fund, then that I think would be great. Questions?
Right, unless my maths is wrong, the formation is easy to go from that pot. The remaining 3 total over £2,500, which is what we have to spend.
Is the band one 900? Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my suggestion to square that would be that we'd give the band 500 on the assumption that each member could. We basically subsidised the apparel, and then each member could. Yeah, it would essentially bring the cost down by 50%, and members could put some money towards their own jackets.
Yep.
That might be a way of doing it.
I'm happy with that suggestion. There's lots of nodding in the room, so we will propose that we will give Newquay Food Bank, 4Motion and St Piran's Festival the full amount that they have applied for. Newquay, the 4Motion coming out of the youth provision, and then Newquay Band will propose that we will give £500, which is the remainder of this grant that's available in the autumn. I propose that. Seconder? Councillor Surrey, all those in favour? Happy days. Thanks everyone. Super. That feels good.
Yeah, could we add a message to the Newquay Band to say that we would like to fund it all, but hopefully this will go some way to subsidise their jackets?
Yeah, I'm more than happy to add that into the letter. Yeah.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Joe. Great. Okay, number 7 on the agenda, the CCTV Manager's Report. Pardon? Find this.
Okay, right. I don't have very much for you this evening, but I have updated my report since it was popped on the IBABs. The Heron Centre are doing some works to their courts, and one of our cameras is housed on their floodlight at the rear of the Heron Centre. Last week they asked me to essentially get the camera removed because the floodlight was going to be no more. So I did that. and now they have asked for so my plan was to utilise that camera in a more crime ASB location, hopefully Island Crescent, where the mobile camera is sat at the moment. But now they wish for the camera to stay at the Heron Centre. So I was just, because they're just going to cut the column, take the light off, cut the column, cap it, keep the camera on the pole. So I would just like your thoughts really as to whether or not you feel the camera should remain there as protection for them, covering the path that goes around the back of the Heron Centre, or use it in more of a busier location where we get lots of activity, and especially because Martin's Law is coming in the near future, and with our events and things, we are going to need better security on the Killer Court. Hopefully I summed that up properly.
No, that's a great summary, thank you. What activity is there around the Heron Centre?
So we've got 3 cameras
Apart from
down there.
tennis.
We've got the camera in the car park. We've got a camera to the side on Wildflower Lane, and then the one at the rear.
Okay.
The one at the rear, we've never, in my 9 years of being CCTV manager, we've never had a live incident down there. I think we've done 1 or 2 reviews, and that was in relation to people being followed.
Okay.
So not a great deal, not a lot.
Okay. So if it was to be removed, is there a huge area now that's not covered by a camera in that? Like, does it create a huge gap? Is what I'm asking. Actually.
No, not really.
Okay.
If someone was to use that path, I assume they'd be captured already on the one to the side of the big dome thing, Wildflower Lane side. And then the next one along is the skate park.
Okay.
So, yeah, if we were aware of something, we could utilise those and review back the one on the side of the Heron Centre. I personally, I'm in 2 minds because violence against women and girls, school children walking through, things like that. But equally, there's a lot more going on Island Crescent where I prefer to put it. And yeah, I think the Heron Centre are having quite a lot of, they're making a big spend on doing the courts up. So they're conscious of protection of their
assets.
Yeah, as well.
Okay. Thank you. Any other thoughts from Councillor Googe?
Yes, thank you. Interesting. I listened to what you just said and take on board that there's been very little actions reporting in the 9 years that you've been in situ. And that's something from us, as you are the SME, that we should take on board. And not only did they ask them to remove the camera, there was none at the time, I assume, about putting it back. This is something that is in hindsight and a later thought. We at this committee over the last 4 or 5 years in my tenure have at numerous times spoken a lot about the mobile cameras at a cost to the general public. We've moved it on at least maybe 1 or 2 occasions I know of, on and off Island Crescent. And I think with the advice that we've just heard, you have a permanent camera at Island Crescent covering that area and across the lower part of the Killer Court, which I assume it can still see as well, not just that corner area, is more paramount and important than a 4th camera around the Heron Centre, which pretty much has all-round protection bar that particular area when that camera will be removed. Well, it has been removed. It's already gone. So I would like to see the camera, personally, replace the mobile one at Island Crescent and have that permanent one erected, which facilitates the mobile one, which we can use again, where we've done in the past. We can use it in Little Fistral or other areas where we have summertime engagements where we need that mobile camera more. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Googe. Councillor Saray.
Yeah, I think Councillor Googe pretty much said what I wanted to say. I think it's particularly if there will be, I'm sure there will be dismayed to hear that the camera's been reallocated, but I guess part of it is their own asset. It falls within their own remit to maintain the security of their assets. So, and of course, if anything suddenly started happening, we have a mobile camera that we could allocate.
Thank you, Councillor Surrey. Just to reiterate what Councillor Gooch said, Charity, you're the professional in this. You've been doing this job for 9 years. You have a gut feeling about where this camera would be better placed. So I think if you want a steer from this, I think we all said that Island Crescent is probably the better option in this case that will serve the public better. Councillor Surrey.
Just also, Charity, obviously this has come about because they requested for it to be removed because they were their infrastructure. I just wondered whether you, whilst we're on the subject and it was in our mind, whether there are any other sites that I don't know whether there's a regular yearly appraisal of, I mean, obviously we're talking about it all the time in C&T, but whether there was any other sites whilst you were at it that you thought, you know, it's coming up to 9 years or 5 years, and you just think that they could be better deployed?
Yeah, as part of, so I review the cameras every year because you need to ensure there's a pressing need for that camera because of privacy, like that. The only other one, when I thought about it, the only other one that I think is not that useful is the doorstep green camera, but it does look at one of our, the play park, which is one of our assets. So we've had a few things there, but that would be the second least used one, I'd imagine. All the other ones I'd like to keep in where they are.
And where would you, let's for instance, we put the mobile one there and then redeployed it as and when, but where would you put that as a permanent one? Where would you love to have eyes if you were going to redeploy, or where would eyes be most beneficial for the people of Newquay, I should probably say?
I would actually probably say the other end of Mount Wise. So we've got a camera at the top of Marcus Hill on Mount Wise, and then the other one is the Pentire roundabout. So probably somewhere more like the top of St George's, Tregonwell Hill, because that's quite often a rat run that they nip down, and then yeah, you can get a bit lost there. Yeah, or maybe further along Henver Road, or four turning somewhere around there.
Cool. Thank you.
We could give you leave to perhaps come back to us for next time, and because we want to be enabling you, as you are the eyes of the eyes, to be able to make use of our assets and these cameras. If they're actually could be better placed, then maybe we could take a view on that one next time if you wanted to come back to us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charity. Councillor Googe.
Yeah, Charlie, just one question. Some years ago, where was the camera on the back of the building that was taken down or dismantled? Was it Edgecombe Avenue, Edgecliff Club down there and was never replaced? There was an issue a couple of years ago where we had a problem and they wouldn't, either it was not permission to put it back, or it certainly hasn't gone back, has it? No. In that area by Rocklands, looking down towards Narrowcliffe to one side, down towards Edgecombe Avenue, and back up towards Cliff Road.
Yeah. Do you mean the one that used to be on the back of the Surfers Hotel, which is now Newquay Beach Hotel? Yes,
that's the one which.
Yeah. So the hotel was refurbed. It was bought refurbed, and the camera just disappeared off the side of the building. So we tried to get the money back for it, ended up going down the insurance route, and then we replaced it further down the road with the junction of Albany Road. So it's still on Edgecombe Avenue, just a little bit further down.
Thank you, Councillor Googe. Does that help? Is that helpful?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. And the only other bits there are my usual statistics, and that I've actually worked out who the freeholders are of some of the buildings where I need to get the wayleaves finished off. I've emailed all of them but heard nothing back since, so carry on chasing that one.
Great stuff.
Me again, sorry. If we're going to move that camera, that now means we have a mobile camera free, so where would you like us to place that whilst we...
Any suggestions of hotspots? We will need backing from the police or ASB officer. But if to be honest, Newquay's behaving itself at the moment, and I can't think of a I can't think of a hotspot right now, but open to suggestions.
I'm open to a suggestion, but I've been asking for a long time to have the lights at the grass area up on Mount Wise as you come through Chapel Lane and turn left. I asked for double fittings some years ago to have that area lit up. And I'd love to have the camera over that grassed area because there is regular drug use in those bushes and in that park on a daily basis. And it's a shame that area is not covered. And I know this committee did discuss about a camera on Mount Wise looking towards, down towards Berry Road Junction, but I don't think anything came of that. Am I right?
Yeah, we've got that one now. That one sits at the top of Marcus Hill looking towards Berry Road. If we're alerted to an incident, we spin it around towards the gardens. We actually have caught people running across, going down to the Mayfield and things like that. We could have a camera in there. The slight issue is power in it. Yeah, usually we use street lights to power them. And trees, the bane of my life. Because once, well, no, not like that, but once the trees, it affects the visibility and things like that, so.
Councillor Creek.
So it's interesting, you mentioned, so we're about to devolve that site. That garden area with the garages, it's all part of the same devolution piece of paper. So we will get that in short order, and that's interestingly where I propose that we build a play park, which may help the tree issue, though I'm not proposing to cut down all the trees for anyone watching. But it would also be a stronger reason why we might want to put some more infrastructure there in the near future. So it's a timely request. And I think the only other thing I wanted to say was, other than well done to you and your team, as always, is that, you know what, on a lot of this, and I think both Councillor Googe and Councillor Sarai have said it, is, you know, you're the person on the ground. You know, I would say that this committee, might just indicate a strategic direction that, you know, you put the cameras wherever you think the cameras are needed, and because you are best placed. None of us, you know, are in a position to tell you how to do your job, frankly, Charity. And I think the strategic direction should be that you go off and do your job as you see fit, and if it means moving a camera, you need to go off and do that, and not necessarily wait for permission from us.
Okay, thank you.
On the flip side of that, we are here massively to support you as well. So do come to us if you want to flesh things out. Great stuff. Thank you, Charity. Thank you. Okay, number 9 on the agenda is Library and Information Service Manager's report. Sue. Oh, TIC. Library. Sorry, TIC. Sorry. Oh, no, it's not. It is Visit Newquay. It is you.
Hi.
Number 8. Sorry.
I just got a few things to ask. Obviously, I'm going for the print for the guide, so I was just hoping that you would support me with the St Austell Print Company. We used them before. That's just something I just wanted to ask. And last month, I was asked for the footfall figures. I've put them in the report now. Sorry to speak a bit funny, but I've just been a bit poorly this week, so just going through a few things a bit quickly. And just to say that the what we did for the Halloween trail was really one of the best that we've ever done, and that was heavily supported by Melissa, providing the prizes and stuff, and such the best uptake we've ever had. A lot of schools came in, little nursery groups and everything, so we're really pleased with that, and we'll be doing a similar kind of thing for Christmas too. So answers. If anybody's got any questions, sorry I've not got a lot to say, but I'm just feeling 100%.
Thank you for coming, Sue, if you're under the weather.
Hi, Sue, thanks for that. Just a quick one. I thought we already approved the printing for St Austell. That's all been, I thought that was sorted.
Designer.
That was design. Thank you for putting me right on that question. The other one is, been notified today, maybe you all haven't seen your email. How many trees are they bringing that people can give away? Oh, that's the library. Sorry, wrong one. Not TIC. Thank you. No question. I've started something. You started that.
All good?
We're just asking if we could close early on Christmas Eve, close at 2 o'clock, and you usually close at 5.
Thought we agreed these the other day. Well, that was the library. Oh. Councillor Creek.
Yeah, so funny enough, I had this conversation with the clerk yesterday or the day before, and you know what, I think all the services should be gone by 2 o'clock on Christmas Eve if they can. Obviously, I appreciate charity is probably about the only one that can't, but you know, it's Christmas, guys.
Yeah, seconded. Yeah, I'd be happy to propose that you're able to close on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve at 2 o'clock. I'll propose that. Do we need to propose and second those things? Yes, I will propose those. And thank you, Councillor Googe.
Just for clarity, is that both recommendations?
Both recommendations. Thanks. All those in favour? Take a breather and start again. Sue's going to go.
Sue, I'll get you that Mayor's welcome thing tomorrow. It's on my list. Sorry.
That's all right. I've not been in this week, so I've not changed it.
Amy chased me. Oh, yes.
Thank you for including the stats as well. It's good to see how well used our library is. So, oh, for God's sake, TIC. I'm going to take a breath. I'm going to get some water, and then we're going to start again.
I'll put them in every month.
Come on, excuse
Thank you.
Hello. Number 9, Library and Information Service Manager's Report. I think. I'm going to go with that one.
Oh, I feel the pressure's on, isn't it now? Actually, I don't really have much based on that report, but just to add a few things that have come up since that report, and one was the trees. So I don't know if people have seen, but if you haven't, Forest for Cornwall are going to brave Storm Bert on Saturday and are in the library with 500 trees to give away. So if anybody is also up for braving Storm Bert, do pop in. They're just in twig form, so they're very easy to transport and carry away. So we were hoping it was going to be a very popular event. We'll see if the weather allows for that. They're here the Saturday morning anyway.
Is there a plan for a second attempt if the storm does keep people away?
I think they're going to leave them with us.
Oh, okay, happy days.
So we'll probably have them throughout. If that is the case, we'll have them available throughout next week. We toyed with cancelling it, but we put a lot of social media stuff's gone out about it. We had a lot of interest over social media around it, so we didn't really think it was. We thought it was worth going ahead, and hopefully it won't be as bad as. Excellent. And then just the only other thing I wanted to mention really was just to say that we've really noticed in this last couple of weeks, as the weather has got chillier, that we are getting busier. So there is that thinking about that kind of warm space again that we knew we would be providing, but I think it's clearly demonstrated that there's still a need in the town.
Have you promoted it at all as a warm space this year?
No, we haven't. But we can, and we probably should.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the people who are coming are the people that we, generally speaking, people we know. But but we can, certainly, do a bit more promotion around that. I think that's a good idea.
There for that as well.
Yeah.
I think it's good. Yeah. Good thing to do. Great. Yes, Councillor Motta.
Just ask, how many copies of newspaper we have? I know that there was a list in the budget and we agreed on everything, but I didn't ask how many copies for each newspaper we have, considering that potentially there is an increase. Maybe people want to read. I don't know. Just asking.
Yeah,
curiosity.
we have one. We get one copy of the Daily Mail, one copy of the Independent every day, and a copy of the Voice weekly. Yeah, but we don't have a queue for it. I mean, you know, people are quite. I'm saying nothing. Yes, I don't think we need more. I don't think we need additional copies of newspapers. No.
And people when they come, they can read a book, for example, for 10, 15 minutes, half an hour from the library. Just
Absolutely.
Then, they can just
Yeah. We have books, but we also have like board games we put out sometimes after school, and certainly on a Saturday. Lots of people work from the library. They bring their laptops and do some work, particularly upstairs when we don't have things on. People. I mean, people spend a long time there. You know, some people are in and out, but some people could spend. I mean, we get a few people spend all day. Yeah. Yeah. We had somebody lie on the heated floor in the children's. We've got underfloor heating in the children's section. We had somebody lying on the children's section floor the other day. So, not a child, no, a parent. Yeah.
Joe, can I just ask about the recycling facility for small electrical equipment at the library?
Yes.
This is a new thing?
Yes, this is a Cornwall Council
initiative.
Yes. I don't know, it's funded by Cornwall Council, but anyway, it is. So I think all libraries have got one. Ours is quite large. You might have seen it, it's massive, in fact. But it takes I think it would take most small electrical equipment, not batteries.
How small?
Toasters, kettles, computers, mobile phones.
Okay.
Children's toys. Say that again. I mean, it's big enough, Drew, to be perfectly honest. It's really quite enormous. If you want to lug it down to the library, you knock yourself out.
Thank you. Any questions? Councillor Creek.
No, just a comment. As always, Joe, brilliant job that you and your team do. You really are an asset to the town and to us as a council. Always surprised by the amount of, I noticed on here, it's 15% increase year on year of public computer use, which astonishes me, to be honest. And I don't really know why that astonishes me. Is it you? It's basically you're the 15%. No, genuinely, I'm always astonished at how many of those computers are in use at any one time.
Yeah.
And great job on the warm space, and also great job on the community initiatives and the groups that you're getting in. Lots more of those. From a work perspective, I always send my pharmacist down, Johnny, who spends some time. Nice guy.
Lovely, doing a great job.
Good, yeah, good. Easy on the eyes too. And nice guy, yeah. No, really good job that you guys are doing, and thanks for providing such a brilliant space for the community, yeah.
Thank you.
Anything that you'd like to promote in the upcoming weeks?
Well, I mentioned the trees, didn't I? And obviously we will be doing, so our Christmas December newsletter will be coming out soon, and we are doing, we're going to have a Christmas craft event again this year, which we do every year, which is an adult event. We do Christmas crafts during the day for the kids, but we're having an evening event again. 5th of December-ish. It will be on social media tomorrow. It is wreath making. It is paper-based wreath making, though, rather than the greenery. But they're doing that everywhere. We thought we'd do something different, and it's cheaper.
I'm a bit of a loss because my corporate service manager had a family emergency. So in the section really is just the comms officer report. So I think what Sally is looking at next really is to she's got pots of underspent budgets, and what she'd like to do is repurpose and reallocate that to almost like a rebrand of Newquay Council, which personally I feel is quite long overdue. It's been a continuous battle, I think, for us as an authority to distinguish ourselves from Cornwall Council. And there's only so much you can do with that, but I think it's, yeah, in my opinion, it's overdue, and she's the perfect person to lead that. So, yeah, I think that's what she would like this committee to, that's her recommendation, really. So if you're happy with that, that's what she'd like to go forward with. And she's identified areas where she's not likely to spend any money, so that's what that's her recommendation.
Great. Any questions for Jo on that, or any points of discussion? I would be happy to propose that our comms officer is able to go ahead and do that. I would like to just say thank you to Sally for the posts that I've seen recently where she is trying to differentiate between Newquay Town Council and Cornwall Council. There's been a couple, and they're clear, they're vibrant, and it really helps people to understand this is what Newquay Town Council do, this is what Cornwall Council do. So I think, yay, more of that. So I would be happy to propose that, yeah, Sally is able to move forward with that and reallocate the budget. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Surrey. All those in favour? Thank you. Events is number 10. Have we got anything from Melissa?
No, there's no events report as such. I think Melissa's tried to keep this committee and council generally up to date with what she's doing. You'll be aware that the next big thing is next week, which is the Christmas light switch on the market. So she's heavily invested in that at the moment. She's used a proportion of her budget to put on a light and display at the Kilcourt, something which ENF and Councillor Gouge, I'm sure, will be happy with. We've been trying to achieve for some time. And I know Councillor Gouge and Cheney have been chomping at the bit to try and illuminate that kind of open space over that period. So, yeah, it looks impressive. I was I was quite taken aback with how well it's come, how well it looks. The proof will be in Puddin, obviously, when it all turns on, and we'll see how it looks. But it looks pretty impressive as it's off. So that's what she's looking at next. But I'm sure the events working party will be more live to what she's doing at the moment.
I mean, so from the events working party, Melissa put together a bit of a kind of a small presentation on what the plans were for the event next week and the different activities that she was putting on for the town, and it looks great. Everything's going to be free in terms of the activities and the things that are happening on the Kilcourt for families and young people, kids, all of that. So it looks great. So well done, Melissa. I know she's head down in the last week's preparation, but hopefully it all comes off well next week and the town turn out for it. Bid managers report.
Can I just, before we go on to the next
sorry,
one,
yeah.
can I just confirm the ENTS working party meeting is still the first Friday of next month? Bearing in mind most things are already organised, is that still going to go ahead?
Oh, that's a good point. And actually, I don't think I'm here. I'm not in the county that day, so I wouldn't be here. But shall we? I'll email Melissa and see if she needs the committee. Probably not. We're probably better off having a kind of a debrief, a wash up, yeah, the week after or at some point afterwards. I'll email Melissa. That's my action point. The bid managers report. Is there anything that we need to talk about in this, or because it's there for everyone to read, and obviously Mark isn't here? No. Shall we just?
I would just like one thing, making a note of the work that Mark Warren has been doing, and in his tenure, as an ex-Newquay bid director, he's making a significant impact and spending a great deal of time with businesses across the town, which has seen, in my eyes, seen a beneficial with the work that he's done. And the zombie crawl was superb, great to see. I wish they would space out a bit more, because as a person who's standing back with my camera, trying to take pictures of people's costumes, there was no spacing, and it was completely back-to-back people, and I just wish, I'm not saying have a parade march and a zombie crawl, but guys, get a break and don't be up people's back ends. And so people could appreciate the costumes
And the effort that people put in.
more,
Noted.
as
I can pass
opposed
that
to
on.
being crammed in. But apart from that, fabulous day.
Great. Thank you, Councillor Gooch. I will feed that back to Mark and to Blister Arts and the dance companies that are all included in that we just want to encourage people to be seen and showcase what they've done. Absolutely. Thank you. Okay, item number 12, correspondence.
Yeah, so we've had, well, a couple of correspondence. The first is around the Watergate Bay hill climb. So this is an event that's been going on for quite some time now. I can't remember the exact year when it started. But essentially, it is what it is. It's a hill climb that takes place in Watergate Bay. And I think that the reason that they've approached this committee is, whilst they do have quite a lot of local support, I think there's still some underlying concerns. I think Councillor Fitters raised some concerns about the stretch of road and it being closed. In his opinion, it's quite an important access road and he doesn't feel it should be closed. So that's obviously his opinion. And I think they just want some reassurance maybe from this committee, that the committee that's responsible for community and tourism, what your kind of take on it really, and whether you have any feedback that you want to give them, positive or negative really, just so they can take that on board. I don't think there's any questions over whether they're looking to cancel or anything like that. I think they just want a bit of a steer really, if you have any thoughts on it.
Has anybody got any thoughts on this event taking place? Councillor Saray?
I'm very much in favour of it. But I can see how Councillor Fitton might not be. I mean, it's a balance, isn't it? We're not closing that road every 5 minutes. Obviously, Boardmasters is the other significant event over the course of the year where that road is impacted. But I think it's in terms of creating the variety of ways in which we can animate spaces in our town, it feels like I've kind of kept track of it. I haven't actually been to it yet, but I've kept track of it the last couple of years and kept meaning to. And I think for the payoff in terms of something that's of interest and yeah, I think it's worth supporting. But obviously, as a committee, we'd have to all agree to formally support that. But that would be my personal take.
I don't think we do have to formally.
But if we want to, I can't. Yeah, but to represent the committee, if we wanted to respond a letter saying we support it, we'd all have to agree. That can't just be me.
Okay. Councillor Gooch.
Yeah, I'm happy to support as well. This is the ones with the cars booming and zooming up and round the road. Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
that's exactly what it is. I mean, you're talking the hill walk. I mean, if anybody else externally from this meeting were thinking, well, I walk up and down that road on a regular basis, but it's the actual speeding of the cars for a few hours a day, which people from both sides on the bank and the car parks can observe. No objections.
Councillor Moore?
No objection as well. I'm very enthusiastic about it.
Councillor Creek.
This is the Italian side with Ferrari and Valentino Rossi and everyone there. Yeah.
There's no bus with gold in the back.
Councillor Creek.
I don't have a strong opinion one way or the other. I think there are aspects of it that are brilliant. I think there are probably aspects of it, mindful of Councillor Fitter's thoughts on it. I think he probably has some valid thoughts on it. I know there are other councillors on the town council that feel that it has an environmental impact that is negative and potentially an impact on wildlife and biodiversity in the area of that weekend. But I mean, I don't have a strong view one way or the other, to be honest.
Cool, thank you. I think that was a mostly in favour from this committee then. So
I'm happy to feed that back to them.
yeah, if anybody feels strongly about writing a letter, I think that I don't know if it needs to come from the whole committee, if it's a positive, broadly in support. Great. 12, I mean, we can't be in support of boardmasters and then not in support of much smaller, less impact events, but there we go. 12B, telephony outages, community level planning. What what is this?
This is something that the clerks decided to put on your agenda.
Great.
So this is a Cornwall Council review, I believe, looking at the vulnerability of the telephone network in terms of power outages. So they're moving towards a system whereby telephone can be delivered via the internet lines. So that's the kind of long-term view. Until we get there, there is still a risk that because all the exchanges are linked into the kind of main grid, and that includes some of the mobile towers, then if you have a major power outage, how do you get support and messages to the general public? My personal view is it's probably too wide a scope for the town council, in this committee especially, but that's just my own view. Whether there's things that this committee could look at in terms of, I don't know, building community resilience or working with voluntary sectors, don't know. But I think it's broadly just raise your awareness of it. And the clerk just wanted a view of this committee is, do you want GNR to have a bit more of an in-depth look at it, given that's the committee that's responsible for kind of general local emergency planning. So it's do you want them to look at it? Do you don't? I'm conscious we've got a couple of members of GNR here anyway, so you might have a view already. But like I said, I think it might be too large for just one authority, but that's not to say that the volunteer sector couldn't possibly assist this council, I don't know.
The only thought I've got is what Joe was mentioning, and it doesn't, even when you had a one-way or a negative or positive, it's going to be GR at the end of the day will have the ultimate say. As it comes to emergency and it is the telephone system, etc., communications, I think we should refer it to GNR and let them have the overriding say in conjunction with the chairs and deputies of the other committees.
Thanks, Councillor Goode.
I'm a bit confused by this one. If I'm honest with you, I'm not sure that this is within the gift of the town council at all. And this feels like it's a Cornwall Council issue. Have they specifically asked us to look at this then?
I don't think they've specifically asked us as a town council. I think it's more broadly across all town and parish councils that they don't necessarily have the resources to put in plans for each individual town.
Sure.
So I think what they're trying to do is flag up this risk to all the local town and parish councils that if you to look at whether you have local plans in your area that need updating. But like you said, I mean, I would agree with you. I think it's probably too big for us as a town council. So I think it's more just making you aware of the risks to the kind of local community that if these networks go down, then yeah, I don't know, there's probably very little we can do as a town council.
I would probably refer this back to the CAPs.
Yeah.
And just, you know, for their areas, but ultimately I think it's a Cornwall Council thing, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with referring it back to the CAP. I think in order for me and maybe the rest of us to understand this, someone would have to come and explain it, because this is great, but doesn't give really what it is and what they're asking, not enough detail. So if this needs to be taken forward and we do need to action something, then somebody from Cornwall Council probably needs to come and talk to us.
So just to add to that, I think, so just as one example from this document, it talks about if there were a power outage, there's no mobile phones, there's no internet, so you can't ring on via WhatsApp or Facebook Messenger or any other VoIP system that you might use in your day-to-day life. But, you know, so one line on there is asking you, how many of your residents have Starlink satellite? Well, we have Starlink on the Killicourt, we know that. But the expectation presumably here is that we walk around the streets of Newquay knocking on all 11,000 doors and asking who has Starlink and who doesn't. And that's just not going to happen. I would refer it to Cornwall Council as the unitary authority. I would say that they would be best placed to deliver a piece of engagement with the whole of the population of Cornwall to assess who has capabilities of communicating outside of, mobile phones.
You could propose that at this juncture you are aware of the things that they've raised and are happy to flag it back up to them and for them to continue their own emergency planning. That really was to kind of tie off the Blister Arts grant, which was done by email, and retrospectively do it at a committee, but I'm conscious that we can't do that again. No, it's not your fault. So we'll push it back to a committee meeting where we have 5 members. There is an alternative, councillor, right, that whether you speak to the clerk about dispensation for that item and we just get it done at the next committee meeting. That might be a way forward. So it's just completely squared off.
Yeah, we moved the meeting from Tuesday to Thursday to facilitate to facilitate the full members to be here.
No, we didn't. It happened. It was pushed through, but we didn't actually all agree to do that. But it was pushed through to facilitate one particular member of the committee who hasn't unfortunately been able to make any of the Thursday meetings since we changed the date, but there isn't anything we can do about that until next May.
Okay.
So we're stuck on Thursdays.
We can keep calling extraordinary meetings.
Which the staff really enjoy doing, so.
Say do that if you're looking in court for your scheduled meeting.
Which the inquiry is causing a lot of additional work for the staff when they're having to spend their Thursdays ringing round everybody to check if we're all coming, which is a shame. It would be great if we could have a full C&T meeting at the next one, which is in January.
Just as a way of trying to support this committee, I tend to turn up to most of these meetings just because, I love it so much, I'm happy to, if the committee wants to recommend to full council, I think you can do that I become a substitute member. And I appreciate that no one loves that idea, and Cal don't love that idea about substitute membership, but they do it on planning. And if it helps the quoracy and things like, getting votes through that when members can't be present, I'm happy to be that person.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. The only thing, there's no agenda item which we can formally recommend it. So what I would suggest is just as a motion on the next relevant full council and just put it on that way.
Just put it on.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got something else I'll do.
Thank you.
But just one point, conscious that, and you propose it, second it, move it on in January, then February, then we have the votes. The impact is going to be very minimal because we're going to have councillors, which I know of 3 or 4 that are leaving next year through age, health, purely retirement. And then we've got new people coming in performance next year, which will hopefully have an impact that we may not be in the same detriment middle of next year.
There is definitely a short-term solution on this. Yeah.
Lovely.
Just can we consider potentially in the future to move to a different day or just review what everyone calendar is the best day for this meeting?
That would be a very sensible.
That would be,
Okay,
yeah, we can
thanks.
absolutely do that.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you, Councillor Moss.
Yeah.
Okay, so the date of the next meeting is Thursday, the 23rd of January 2025. It is Thursday at 7 p.m. in the council chamber. Thank you, everyone.